Coffee. Let's get the review started. What's up guys? My name is Tausif Hussain and today we're going to be talking about the brand new iPad 10.5 inch from Apple. Now, I'll be honest, I've owned pretty much most of the iPads that have come out in the past, and I wasn't expecting anything groundbreaking from this one either. I mean, the design's the same, the buttons, the ports, even the software is pretty much the same as of now. So going into it, I wasn't too excited, and it was just supposed to be another spec bump iPad. Now, tablets have always been somewhat of a niche area for me. I've never really seen them as a requirement. If I need something quick, then I'll usually go to my cell phone, or if I need something with a little more power, a little more multitasking capabilities, then I'm usually going to my MacBook Pro. However, my experience with this iteration of the iPad Pro has been pleasantly surprising. I've been using it for the better part of a month now, and I've been using it a lot more than I have any of the other previous gen iPads. I think that has a lot to do with the direction that Apple is trying to take this thing. They're trying to aim this at people who are very basic users of laptops, who don't really need a laptop, and they could go for this instead. So now we answer the question, is Apple really overstretching here? Is this really a laptop replacement? Let's find out. So before we get into my thoughts on this, let's break down what's new. Hardware-wise, the screen size is slightly bigger. They've bumped it up from 9.7 inches to 10.5 inches while keeping the footprint around the same. This is essentially done by shrinking the bezels on the side, which of course is a welcome change in my books. So just like the last iPad Pro, there's still 4 speakers on this thing, 2 being on each side, which all pump out phenomenal, even sound compared to even many of the laptops nowadays. The display is the main course of any tablet. This one comes in at about 2224 by 1668, which results in a PPI of about 264. It's also brighter than the previous iPads at about 600 nits. It has a full P3 color gamut and has True Tone display, which adjusts the color temperature of the display based on the room lighting. But I think one of the biggest improvements for me personally is what Apple calls ProMotion. Initially, I thought it was just a promotion by Apple for the new tablet. Get it? Good pun? Woo! Bad joke? Okay. I walk a lonely road. This basically means that unlike a regular screen, which has been present in pretty much every Apple product up until now, the screen has a refresh rate of 120 Hz as compared to 60 Hz. So what does this mean for the end user? This basically means the screen is going to be liquid smooth. I mean, you really have to see it to understand. Navigating through the OS, scrolling, or switching between apps, it is butter. However, when viewing things like videos or playing games that don't utilize the full 120 Hz, it'll reduce back to conserve battery. ProMotion also reduces the latency of the Apple Pencil to 20 milliseconds. This brings the Pencil a little closer to the real thing. However, what hasn't changed is still the way that you charge the Apple Pencil, which is still probably the dumbest way to charge anything in my opinion. On the inside, the iPad Pro is a beast. It's running the Apple A10X chip with 2.39 GHz clock speed and 4 gigs of RAM, and comes in iterations of 64, 256, and 512 GB storage models. And what's surprising is that, and you've probably seen this on headlines, is that the new iPad Pro is benchmarking similar to what some of the brand new 2017 MacBooks are putting out. Now, benchmarks for tablets aren't really that comparable to laptops because they're kind of different lines of products and they do slightly different things, but it just goes to show how capable these tablets are becoming these days. This year's iPad Pro also has the same camera from the new iPhone 7, which is amongst the best in the market. Please note a disclaimer here though, I'm totally against people taking photos on their iPads. Just please don't do it. The iPad Pro can shoot 4K video with optical image stabilization and edit straight onto the tablet. It has a 7 megapixel camera for FaceTime, Skype, and of course the occasional selfie. The battery life is still approximately the same as the last iPad Pro. Apple claims a runtime of about 10 hours, and my personal experience with that is pretty much around the same. However, one of my biggest gripes with this tablet is that it still uses the same lightning cable and it still uses the same power adapter as the other iPads, and I think it's about time that Apple changes this. Please, Apple, change this. There is no quick charge option, and the battery on this thing is pretty big, so it takes quite some time for it to actually charge fully. Now that we've covered the hardware, let's go to the software. Software is where the brand new iPad Pro shines. This is where Apple has brought the biggest differences to the iPad Pro 10.5, and it's under the guise of iOS 11. Let's start with the application dock. It lives on the bottom edge of the iPad, and if you're in any app, a quick swipe up from the bottom brings the application dock to life. However, if you do a long swipe up, this takes you to the hybrid control center / multitasker. Here you can switch through your opened apps as well as control some key settings. They also brought some of the 3D touch functionality, allowing you to long press on some of the settings to get further options. In addition to the control center that I really like personally, which hasn't actually been mentioned too much, is the new record button, which is built into the system. Now you can actually record your screen directly on the device and share it. iOS 11 has also improved multitasking. Now you can multitask a lot better by simply sliding an app up from the dock and placing it on the screen as either a pop-up or in the split screen view. And now you can have up to 3 apps open at the same time. Another feature that has been missing for quite some time is the drag and drop. You can now drag and drop between windows and between applications, which opens up sharing a lot more. For example, iOS now allows you to share multiple pictures from the Pictures app to your Mail application or your Notes application. Lastly, now there's also a Folders app on the iPad, which allows you to store files in different folders, so helping you be more organized. And these folders, they sync across your other devices, such as your MacBook. So it really streamlines your experience if you're in the Apple ecosystem. Okay, so now that we've covered what's new, the important question: can it actually be a viable laptop replacement? So me personally, I actually quite enjoyed the mobile computing experience on the new iPad Pro 10.5 inch. I found a good use for it by taking it to places where I didn't really want to lug around a 15-inch MacBook Pro. For example, I commute to downtown Toronto every day, and carrying both my work laptop and my personal laptop would become pretty heavy. In fact, both my last video, which was the review on the Boosted Board version 2, and this video were both scripted and planned on the iPad Pro. For someone looking for a tablet specifically, I would say this is one of the best money can buy. It's got a really good app experience, it's got great multitasking capabilities, it's got phenomenal build quality and a great design. It's got a really nice looking display, it's got good battery life, great camera, great speakers, and excellent performance. I think this product would really appeal to somebody that is in video or photo editing, as well as people that have the very basic of needs for a laptop. However, caveat, if you're looking for a media consumption device, this is not it, because it's definitely overpowered for that purpose and you're paying a lot more. So I would go with the regular iPad and that would be just fine. So the question comes, would I personally be able to replace my laptop with the iPad Pro? Me personally, no, because my needs are far greater than what the iPad Pro can provide for me currently. I think that's going to be the case for the vast majority of the people out there. The iPad Pro is fast, but it's not as fast as using a keyboard and a mouse to get work done. The iPad Pro is powerful, but it can't multitask and use different softwares to the ability that a laptop can. So unless someone has a very basic requirement for a laptop, then I would definitely skip out on the iPad Pro and go with something such as a more powerful laptop tablet hybrid, such as the Microsoft Surface Pro 4. However, I really do think that this is a great device to have as a supplement to your current setup and your work style if you're already in the Apple ecosystem. Alright guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching me. If you liked this video, then please go ahead and crush that like button. If you like watching content around tech, gadgets, and filmmaking, then please go ahead and smash that subscribe button. And with that, I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.